So how are you doing today? It's a beautiful day full of new opportunities, and I hope that you took advantage of every last one of them. What I want to share with you are 3 signs that you are miserably insecure. Not just insecure, but miserably insecure. Dolores Jones, your comeback coach, is my name. I'm simply here to help you bounce back better, not bitter, through life experiences and bad decisions. Life is pretty just a lot of experiences and activities. And so today I was inspired to talk about insecurity because sometimes it really is at the root of why certain people don't have relationships or they don't have friends. Is that all right about it? Okay. So make sure that you like and share this video. Welcome to Dolores Jones TV, as well as my Facebook page, as well as my Instagram. All right. So number 1, out of the 3 signs that you are miserably insecure, none of your personal relationships, your romantic relationships, they never last. They never last. Because a person has to give you a play-by-play of their day. That it doesn't even make sense. Because you don't feel like, okay, the person chose to be with you, but something inside of you is saying, I don't have the ability to keep this person or keep this person happy, or I'm lacking something. And that's the root of insecurity. You feel as if you can't do a certain thing. You feel as if you're incapable. You act like you don't have it. You don't have it. You don't have what it takes, which is a lie. But the root of trauma, you have a trauma that caused that. It could be a word. It could have been something that happened that people made you feel ashamed, or sometimes people don't let you live stuff down, and so you take root. It takes root, and then it pops up. And sometimes what happens is we can make it somebody else's problem, or we can choose to deal with it, and we can ask ourselves questions like, well, why are you feeling like that? I mean, why do you keep sabotaging relationships? You ever been with somebody and you say, oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, you really don't mean that. You really mean that. You really mean that? Yeah, I said it. I said it. Number 2, one other reason, or one sign that you're miserably insecure, is you try to make other people feel insecure. Isn't that a shame? Let me give you an example. I was dating someone. I'm a journalist as well. And so I was writing a column for the paper he worked for. And his supervisor was like, Dolores, I really like that article in your woman to woman column. And I'm sitting there and I'm just excited because she's the editor of the paper. And all of a sudden he blurts in and he says, did you see all those typos she had? So a person who's insecure is going to pull you down. And they're going to focus on your faults. They're going to focus on your faults. Now, they may become creative with it. So say, for instance, you're an insecure person and you're attracted to a high value woman. All right. It could play out like this. Now, you want her, but you can't accept the fact that she really is all that in a bag of chips. And that's what you want. But you're so insecure, you don't feel like you can even handle a relationship with this person. You try to beat them down so that they see you better than they are. And it's not going to work when you're dealing with a high value person. You're just not going to do it. So, for example, I was with someone. Now, he couldn't come up to me and just say anything crazy to me. So he said his fraternity brother wrote this really bad letter about me. Now I said, well, at this point, you're my husband. So if there's a bad letter, you should check that person. Okay, you should check that person. So I read the letter and it started calling me all these horrible names, whores and just things, any horrible word you could think of. That's what the letter said. So I looked at him. He's my husband now. And I handed him back the letter. And I said, you know what? I should have never seen this. There's no way I should have received this letter from you. You should have checked your frat brother. That's what you should have done. This paper, it's not working. Now, I didn't want to believe it was from him, but eventually certain behavior and patterns started to convince me that it was. You talk wonderful. You can talk wonderful about you. I mean, you could be awesome. People could say, oh, you're beautiful. But the person that's very miserably insecure, they can't accept a compliment for you. Meaning, I was with him and somebody said, oh, your wife is so beautiful. And I think most people in their right mind would have said, yes, she is. And that's why, I just love her. And he said, I ain't nothing to bark at. And I was like, are you kidding me? Okay. An insecure person, a person who is miserably insecure, you really can't satisfy him. So you might as well stop trying. You cannot satisfy him because it's in their head. See, your insecurity, there is a root. Something happened and you bought into the fact or the idea or the notion that you're incapable of doing that. It's like a lack of confidence in your own self because something happened. And I'm going to tell you how to go and get that up out of there. But right now we're talking about 3 signs that you are miserably insecure. Number 1 is your relationships never work out because you always sabotage in relationships. And chances are you're going to lie and say it was the other person because people who know you, they're like, wait a minute now. You're the common denominator in all these relationships that didn't work. So everybody ain't crazy. But the person, Number 2, since they feel insecure, they got to make you feel insecure as if to say you're not good enough. So they'll start picking out your faults and then they will even embarrass you in front of other people. It's the worst thing ever. Why would you do that? Because I don't feel good about myself. I don't feel capable. So I'm going to pull you down. And miserably insecure people, you can't take them anywhere. Meaning you can't take them to the Christmas party. Why? Because the thought that you're going to get some attention, they're either feeling like the person wants you or that they're nobody in comparison to the people you're trying to introduce them to. And so they will clown. They will clown. Let me give you an example. I had a speaking engagement. I was dating this guy. I told him, meet me here at this time. Now, when I'm preparing for something, I just I don't answer my phone because I have to be focused. So by the time I arrive, I'm coming through the door and he says, I need to talk to you right now. And I'm looking at his face and I'm thinking, oh no, he ain't about to do this right here. He ain't about to do this. Can I talk to you? And I went over to the corner and I said, you know what? I know you really don't want to do this right now. Well, I called you and you didn't answer. I said, did we already have plans? Didn't you understand the plan before I left you? Yes, but I called. I said, no. Listen, we're not going to do this right now. This is my job. We're not going to do this right now. Okay? We're not doing it. Same guy. He found out where I worked. I was working for a chamber, Kansas City, Kansas Chamber of Commerce. And one day he popped up. He sat in the lounge. And I was like, oh, okay, here. I brought you something. Great. He kept coming back like almost every day, sitting in the lounge where I worked. So the president of the company was like, Dolores, who is this? And I was like, well, he is a friend of mine. He said, well, you need to let him know that he can't, just sit here in the lobby like that. And so when we addressed it, he got an attitude as if to say, why can't I? Sir, you can't come to my job. First of all, if you're so insecure, why don't you go do something? Go do something. Insecure people will blow your phone up. You will call them and they'll be like, about time you call me back. I've been calling you. And really you want to say hello to you too. Because see, you want somebody who's all about it, but then you have no life and you can't stand that somebody else is still moving because you feel left behind. And the person that you met didn't do it. What happens is something occurs and it's a trigger for you. And so because of the trigger, now you go off the wall. And you can't now trust nobody. That's why I ain't got no man today, because they all the same. No, they're not all the same. But the story that you're telling yourself, your narrative, they're all the same to you. And eventually, the person who wants you, they're not going to be able to put up with that. I call it babysitting an adult. I call it adult tantrums. I can't help you. If you're doing an adult tantrum, you need to go back to your mama. I'm not doing it. 3 signs that you are miserably insecure. It's never enough. That's number 3. They can tell you that you're gorgeous, you're this, I want you a million times, and you'll complain because they didn't say it 1,000,001 times. And they'll just pick fights with you. The person who is miserably insecure will pick a fight with you. And here's the thing. If you get with somebody who's powerful and they're going to be the center of attention just because that's just them, right? When you got it, you got it. God gave it to you, and that's what you got. And they're attracted to it until they get you, right? Until they get you. And so I remember I am also been a radio personality. And so this particular time I was doing my radio show, and it was live. And I had several African-American men. That was the focus of the show. I wanted to highlight the accomplishments of professional Black men, and I wanted to get their opinion. And so I included the guy that I was dating because he was considered a professional. Cool. I'm thinking we good. Everything's going to be kosher. No. Get on the show. I'm live. I transpose his first name with the name of the newspaper, because I'm the engineer. I'm all of that. I'm the producer, and it takes a lot. And usually you would shake it off. So after the interview, I look up and he storms out of the studio. And I'm sitting here with these other men, and I'm wondering, where is my dude? So he calls me, and he's like, you don't even know my name. We're in a relationship. Excuse me? You said such and such, such and such. I said, it's an honest mistake. But he wants to fight about it. I said, oh my Lord. Another thing. I couldn't compliment somebody else. Well, you sure do talk to that person a lot. You really tell him thank you a lot. Excuse me, first of all, you just got in a relationship with me. You don't even have that type of history. So just chill out. So it's always a comparison. A person that's miserable, you didn't do this. Well, you did this for that person. Well, why would you do that? I thought you said you loved me. And they're just full of questions and complaints. Drama. And then eventually your friends they'll start saying stuff like, well, what's wrong with her? Well, what's wrong with him? And you become embarrassed because you're just like, you know what? I don't even know. Well, why were you talking to her for so long? I mean, she's all in your face. A secure person knows that they have value and they're the prize. So if you decide to mess it up, it's on you, boo-boo. It's not on me. If you want something, are you mature enough to handle it? I heard Bishop R.C. Blake say, he said, you want a high value man, but can you handle a high value man who is going to be the center of attraction because that's just who he is? Or are you going to nut up? Go in the car. I'm going to be in the car. What? And ladies, it's not just us. Because I dated several insecure men. They want to question you. They want to put you on a schedule. And you're like, excuse me, do you know what I do? Do you know who I am? I picked you. I said yes to you. But you're so insecure, you're worried about everybody else. Now, this is going to be for free. You can't help who is attracted to you, but you can decide who you're going to entertain. And sometimes people are faking the funk, but they really don't believe that they deserve to be with you. And they don't even believe in themselves. Somebody's going to find out about me. It's called the imposter syndrome. So when a person feels like an imposter, sometimes they have to lie all the time about what they got because nobody else can get the glory. Nobody else can get the glory. Another thing, think about it. If a person is working all the time, why would you keep calling their job? Why would you do that? What are you going to miss? First of all, you should be doing something. You should have some goals. Nobody's going to babysit you. No and no. So let me give you a quick couple of tips on how to work with your own insecurity, because like you, I'm human. I've had insecurities. Sometimes you can see somebody who looks more attractive than you. And if you were called ugly, I was called ugly. I was called stinky. I was called all these things. But what I had to learn is, number one, I had to start to consider the source of these complaints and these criticisms. Because just because a person may be a mother, a father, an uncle, a pastor, doesn't mean they're healthy enough. And some of them don't want you to rise up. They want to keep their foot on your neck. So they won't celebrate you. And so you get with some people who want to celebrate you, and you're thinking, you're suspicious. Well, why they trying to celebrate me? You think they're going to lift you up to let you down because that's where you've been. And that's a part of that insecurity, as if to say, I'm not good enough for this. I'm not good enough for support. I'm not good enough for people loving me. You got to think about that. So whenever I feel insecure, first of all, I have to check myself. I have to acknowledge I feel insecure. Dolores Jones, yes. Why do you feel insecure right now? I have to sit with it. And whatever comes up, it could be because you don't feel pretty today. Yeah, I don't feel pretty. Well, why don't you feel pretty today? Because yesterday you were just as beautiful as you were the day before that and the day before that. So where's that coming from? Oh, I remember I was with this person and blah, blah, blah. All right. So now you know. This wasn't a thought that I wanted. It was a thought that came up. Now I get to decide if I'm going to own it. And if I own it, that means I'm going to operate off of it. I'm going to let it dictate my conversation and my behavior. Or I can say, Lord, I need you to help me. I need you to help me because I'm struggling with this, Father, and help me to accept that there are other beautiful people in the world. And then one way that I combat it, if it's a person I'm feeling slightly jealous of or insecure, I will purposely go up to the person and say, you are so beautiful. You are so beautiful. So I basically counteract the negative thought that's trying to consume me, right? You are so beautiful. Oh, okay. And I sit with it. Or if the person has something that I really, really like, girl, you looking good. What do you do to lose all that weight? Who does your hair? Because apparently you feel like you don't have it. And there are more people who are willing to share with you if you act like you got good sense. Put a 1 in the comments if you believe me. Put a 1 in the comments. Hey, Tiffany. Hey, Boo. Hey, all of y'all. Put a 1 in the comments. Now, it takes a mature person to recognize and acknowledge their own insecurities. Like you feel out of place because it's new to you, but it's not true to you. It's new. Somebody sees your value and they know that you belong, but your insecurity says, no, I really don't deserve to be here because so-and-so said I would never be anything. And you don't have to accept their narrative as your truth. That's why you have to consider the source. Why would you accept the opinion of someone who's bitter and miserable? You know, whatever you got in is what's going to come out. Apples come off of an apple tree. They don't come off of an orange tree. So you got to peep them out. And be like, wait a minute. What? Are they wait a minute. Or they'll pick out the slightest thing. Girl, you looking good, but you're a little too big for them clothes. And you're like, you're not, excuse me? They'll just offer things and you could be in a conversation and they'll just interrupt your conversation with somebody else and say something off the wall. And then it's like crickets. And you'll have to excuse yourself because now you got to go babysit. So that's one of the things you can do. If you feel yourself having a jealous moment and you're feeling insecure, you need to sit with it and say, where did that come from? And why don't I feel like I'm enough right now? Why don't I feel like I can do that? Now, this is the hard part. This is hard to accept. When you are capable, educated, you got the skills, but you won't do anything with it. Why? Because you don't believe that you have what it takes. It's insecurity. Or you're worried about somebody else's being better than yours. You're your own competition. The competition is you want to be better than you were today. You want to be better than you were yesterday. That's competition right there. You want to talk about how did you improve? Not Am I better than Jesse? Am I better than Jesse? Oh, they clap more for Jesse. Okay. That doesn't take anything from you, the fact that they clap for Jesse. And then you sit with it. Now, for me, I have to go to God because I really believe it is in him that I live, I move, and I have my being, and that I am fearfully and wonderfully made. So I say, Father, please help me with this. I know where the root is, but Father, please bring this up out of me. And there are times I have to cry because usually your insecurity is connected to a memory that you can't shake. I remember somebody telling me to apply for a job. Listen, I got 3 degrees and a lot of experience, TV, books, all this. And I told the person, I said, no, I'm not going to apply for that. I don't think I can do it. And they said, what are you talking about? You can't do it. I said, look at all them words. You know, sometimes those job descriptions are way too long. And I was like, what is this and what is that? And I was talking myself out of this opportunity because I didn't feel like I had enough. You know, that's why some people go back to school. You're like, you been in school again? You got about 12 degrees, but you're not doing anything with it. You're dressing it up, but at the core, you don't feel valuable. You don't feel important. You don't feel like you make a difference. So why should you care? Why should you celebrate somebody else? Insecurity. We're talking about 3 ways. Now, there are multiple signs that you're insecure. You know, you get in the way of other people's relationship with the person you're in a relationship with. You spend so much time with your mama. I mean, are you sleeping with your mama? And they just say ignorant stuff. And you're like, what are you talking about? I thought you said that with your sister. Well, you're always on the phone with your sister. Let me see your sister. So right out the bat, they ain't trusting you, right? Because of their insecurity. Maybe it was in your childhood. You know, maybe somebody did something to you. And they told you the reason that they did it was your fault. And so now instead of you challenging it, you just held on to it as, yeah, it was my fault. It was my fault. One day, someone that I love dearly said something to me and it crushed me. And it impacted the way that I saw myself in relationships, romantic relationships. And the person said, oh, you think you beautiful? Okay, you're going to get a man and he's going to hit you up in your face and show you how pretty you are. So eventually I got into relationships with men who weren't nice. And I would challenge it, but it was hard because if you come from home and that's what you heard, and then you get with these people and they just echo that. So finally, one day I did get into a fight with my husband and I ended up in the hospital. And the person, I eventually shared that with the person. And when the person got angry, the person said, you deserve what he did to you. Now, y'all know that was a bald-faced lie. I didn't deserve that. But if I had taken that and let it take root, then I would have said to myself, I don't deserve someone who's going to treat me nicely because I'm a problem. And I knew that was nothing but from the pits of hell. And I had to consider the source. And I had to say, you know what? I'm not accepting that. And then you stay away from people. Yeah, you can bounce back from it. But why would you keep putting yourself in harm's way over and over and over again? You got to check your circle. You got to check your circle. Here's the other thing when you're dealing with insecurity. Stop making excuses for it. Just own it. Yeah, I'm insecure. Why? I remember I didn't do well in this class and the teacher, she really made me feel like a loser. But are you really a loser? Look at the facts versus your feelings. The fact is, if you pass the class, you pass the class. Like one of my colleagues said, look, Dolores, when we get our master's degree, the person isn't going to ask you, well, what was your GPA? Did you make an A in this class? And they're going to ask you that. They're going to say, can I see your diploma, please? Or can I see your certificate that you earned this particular degree. It's like what Chadwick Boseman was saying when he was talking about On Top of the Hill. You know, he was giving the commencement speech, and he had cancer at the time, and nobody knew this. But he said, you know, some of you were crawling. Some of you were summa cum laude. Some of you were like, no, that wasn't you. He said, but the point is, you made it to the top of the hill. He wasn't saying this is how you got here. The thing is, you got to your destination. Sometimes you limped. You were limping. Maybe you cried all the way through your classes. But that doesn't mean you're not enough. Doesn't mean you're not enough. Insecure people don't want to share your attention with anybody. With anybody. And they'll come up and say something sly, just off the wall, and it'll vex your spirit. Look at why you feel a certain way. And if you can't walk through it alone, get a coach, get a therapist, get a coach, so they can challenge the thoughts and the narrative that you're telling yourself that's driving your relationships and driving people away from you. Some people create problems so that they can solve them. They're not used to peace. So you come in and you're a peaceful person, and they're like, oh my God, something's wrong. I must not be doing something right. Well, let me create a problem so I can solve it, so then they can tell me how good I am. You don't have to do backward flips. You know, you don't have to buy people stuff. Sometimes people are insecure and they just buy pop. You can't buy friendships. Think about that. If you find yourself buying friendships because you don't feel enough, like you're good enough, why would you do that? You don't have to plead. You don't have to beg. If you find yourself pleading and begging and running, that's not you. It's not you. You are good enough and you belong. I remember going to this event and I was the only person of color there. I had met a woman and I was having a conversation with her, and they invited me to this museum. And it was a private party. So I walk in and everybody is doing their thing. And all of a sudden this feeling comes over me, and I go to a corner and I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing here? Why are you here? And then the spiritual part says, Dolores Jones, breathe. So I start breathing. I'm like, okay, you can do this and you belong here. Now hold your head up. And you keep walking, and you read, and you get your tuna tartare or whatever else you're going to get, your calamari and all this, and then go find yourself a seat. Now, see, internally, I'm talking myself through this process. I'm talking myself through this moment. And eventually I sat down and I sat up, and the women came over and they were like, who are you? So it gave me an opportunity to introduce myself. So I introduced myself and I just kept talking, and they were enamored by my beauty, by my conversation. So one of them was like, you know what? I need you to help me. I'm going through a divorce and blah, blah, blah. She was intrigued by my perspective about life. And come to find out, she was the founder of a magazine. And so from there, it led to other events. Now, had I start playing small and getting in the corner and being snappy and running and hiding and peekabooing, that would have never happened. One of the things you need to do is understand you worked hard to become who you are. And they weren't there through your sleepless nights. They weren't there. So their opinion really doesn't matter. There's a book that says what you think about me is none of my business. Understand that your insecurity, you're so concerned about everybody else's intent. But when you are not insecure, you know, I got this. Whatever it is, I got it. And if I don't have it right now, I know where to get it. And you cool like that. So start to practice ways that when you feel yourself becoming overwhelmed and intimidated and jealous, find a way. Just say, I got to step away. Count to 10, count to 50, count to 30. And if you're feeling that, say, could you please excuse me? And they say, sure, I'm going to go to the little girl's room, or I'm going to go here. And you got to have that self-talk. The other way to maintain your own sense of security is you work on it. Not just when you need it, you working on it constantly. You put yourself in places where you learn to grow and to develop. And you can challenge yourself in areas that normally you would run from. This is going to be free as well. Don't get bent out of shape if you're not somebody's type. Some men want them skinny. Some people want them thick. Some people want them tall and some people want them small. But that's not your business. Your business is to be true to who you are and be so confident of the fact that you are important and you are valuable, that if the person doesn't want to be with you, that's on them. It has nothing to do with you. Don't allow somebody's preference to become your problem. But you got to work on this. You got to find out what makes you you. People say, what is your superpower? Your superpower. There was a guy one day we were talking and I was telling him about this millionaire that I was getting to know, and the guy was attractive. And so the person said, well, he got all that money. What would he want with you? And I stepped back and I said, excuse me? He said he could have anybody he wanted. And then I had to check the person. I said, hold on. Let me tell you something. See, you got to know your value. I said, I don't care how much money he has. He don't have me. I'm a woman of God. I got a prayer life. I have favor with God. He don't have me. See, sometimes people are looking for the tangible things, but your value is in the intangible things. To have favor with God, to be able to touch the throne, to be able to intercede on somebody else's behalf, to be able to have a relationship with God, a bona fide relationship, and you see God moving on your behalf. Baby, money can't buy that. Can't buy that. Don't let somebody discredit you because of a dollar bill. Because as quick as you can get a dollar bill, it can be taken away from you. But you want the presence, your essence. It's like Maya Angelou said, I walk into a room just as cool as they please. And to a man, the fellows stand or they bow down on their knees. And then they swarm around me, a hive of honeybees. I say, it's in the reach of my arm. It's in the span of my hips. It's in the stride of my step. It's in the curl of my lips because I am a woman. Phenomenal woman. That's me. Pretty women wonder where my secret lies. I'm not cute or built to suit a fashion model size, but when I try to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say it's in the fire of my eyes, the flash of my teeth, the bend of my hair, and the need for my care, because I'm a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me. Your disposition, your mentality, your mindset is what is going to set you apart from everyone else. So when you feel yourself going into this insecure place, you got to work on your mind. The battlefield of the mind. Don't just accept something because somebody says something. Ain't nobody gonna never want you. Ain't nobody gonna want you because you got kids. I'm the best thing you ever had. Well, if you the best thing I ever had and you ain't nothing, then I don't need this. See, a secure person doesn't have to tear you down because they're too busy building themselves up. You understand? I'm gonna say that again. An insecure person, or a secure person, doesn't tear you down, because they spend all of their energy lifting themselves up. See, you can either get ahead or you can get even. But you can't do both. Because either you're doing this or you're doing that. When you're a secure person, you're trying to make yourself more valuable, meaning you come in and you can change some things. Maybe it's your presence. Maybe it's your conversation. What is your superpower? What is that one thing that if nobody else, you know that you got this. You know, okay, if I have Tamika on my team, I know it's going to go down like this. Why? Because Tamika, blah, 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 blah. See, but you got to have your superpower. You can't let somebody else tell you your value. So what, you got kids? I felt that way. I got divorced and I had a son. And then the old tapes and back in the day when they would say, ain't nobody going to want you with no children. Ain't nobody going to want you with no children. So I started feeling slightly insecure, right? Inadequate because I got a child and he ain't gonna want me because I got a child. That was a lie from the pits of hell. I had to switch the narrative. I said, first of all, do I want him around my child? See the difference? You're not doing me a favor. I'm blessed with or without you. I'm gonna make it whether you stay or whether you go. Because you got to put stuff inside of you. Instead of watching all the TV and seeing who's doing this and one life to live. And since I lost my baby and the have-nots, I'm not saying don't be entertained. But I'm saying be intentional with your life. Be intentional with how you spend your time. Be intentional with who you talk to and the conversations you have. You need to ask yourself, is this making me better or bitter? When I'm around this person, do I feel empty and depleted? Or do I feel like I could kick a field goal? Be selective. Be selective. You have a right to be selective. If nobody wants you in their club, how about you make your own club? Because there are people who probably feel the same way you feel, but you could lead them out of that wilderness. In closing, firstly, share the video. I appreciate y'all. All right. Dolores Jones TV, you're right here on my YouTube channel. Facebook is here with me. Instagram, I'm bringing you along too. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification button and you'll know when I'm live so you can catch me live and you don't have to watch the replay. Is that all right? Okay. The other thing, for those of you that have prayed for me and supported me in all that you've done, I appreciate it. Y'all know I've had some rough moments, passing of my uncle, and that's probably why you've seen me like, okay, she's here and she's gone, because grieving is real. So keep praying for me. Those of you who have supported me through your financial contributions, I thank you for that too. And remember, whatever you share is tax deductible. You need to understand that, all right? Here's my final story. I had the opportunity to interview Oprah's man, Stedman Graham. And I was so excited. I'm like, oh my God, this is Stedman Graham. And he knows Oprah. This is her boo. And I went prepared. Because you never know who knows who people, you know. And I was there with my man. He was a journalist. So it came time for him to interview Stedman. And I was just like, yeah, baby, go, baby, go, baby. You know, so I'm sitting there watching. And he looks over at me and he's like, do you have to sit here? And I was like, oh. So I'm looking at Stedman Graham and I said, we're engaged. And he's looking like, really? So I get up and I leave. Then it's my turn. And I sit down. I don't care who's sitting by me. I got something to do. So I'm talking to Stedman Graham. And then Stedman says to me, he says, young lady, you did an excellent job with this interview. So the guy was listening. So I look up and I'm looking around for him and I'm looking around and I don't see him. He left the party. We talk on the phone. I said, hey, what happened? You all in Stedman's face. You telling you got to take pictures. He missed the whole point. He missed the whole point of the fact that we were there. We had VIP access. And you're so insecure that you're worried about me taking a picture with Stedman Graham. Really? Where they do that at? They do it when you're insecure. Stedman wasn't my man. You were my man. But you wanted to make a big deal about it. I'm not living like that. Because I don't care if Beyonce comes up to you. Beyonce isn't Dolores Jones. She's not. I'm not Oprah. I don't have to be Oprah. And I had to learn that. So find out who you are. Build on your strengths and address your weaknesses. Because before they were strengths, everybody had a weakness. When you learned to ride a bike, you didn't just pick up the bike and start riding. No, you picked up the bike and you fell off. Some of us scarred our knees and our arms. And so somebody said, we're going to put some training wheels on here. So they put your training wheels on there and they let you ride with the training wheels for so long. And then one of your parents or whomever taught you how to ride a bike, they said, okay, we're going to lift this one training wheel up. You don't need that one. So we're going to keep the training wheel on the left. Now try to balance. They're teaching you how to balance. Eventually they take the training wheels off, but you're still feeling insecure. You don't know if you can really pull this off. So you say to the person, well, can you just stand back and hold the seat of my bike? Can you just do that for me, please? Pretty please. And so the person does. And you get to wobbling and you're wobbling and you're about to, they say, don't worry, I got you. And you're like, okay. So you take a deep breath because you figure that person is back there. They got your back. So now that motivates you to really learn how to do this. So you riding that bike. And then the person lets go. And they're saying, you got it. Stay focused. And you realize you got it, but you get so excited and you fall down. But then the person says, you did it. And they're cheering you on. And finally, you pick that bike up. And because they cheered you on and celebrated you, even when you fell down, you got back up and they celebrated the fact that you got back up. You knew you could ride that bicycle. Put a comment or one in the comment section. You see, you were confident that you could ride a bike because you went through the process, but you had somebody who taught you how to do it. And then you had that person say, I got you. Just keep going forward. Just keep going. Now put the brakes on. Don't lynch. And they're coaching you through the process and you got it. So let me tell you who's coaching you now is the divine. God knows what you're capable of. And anything that you don't feel so strongly about, God will coach you through it. He will connect you with people who will help celebrate you. But remember, they are not better than you are. They are helping you. They may have more information, more experience, but they are helping you because you have what it takes. Now we got to put it together. So I want you to keep that image of that bicycle. You're learning to ride a bicycle. Now, some people didn't learn to ride a bicycle until they were grown. It's like, you did? Oh, okay. Well, somebody didn't teach them. So I want you to imagine that you're on that bicycle. Whenever you start feeling insecure, I want you to see yourself on this bicycle. And I want you to see God holding the seat. And I want you to see God going with you. And I want you to hear the Spirit telling you, you got it. You got it. Come on. You got it. You can do it. You can have this conversation with that person. Come on. You can have this kind of relationship. You deserve it. Okay. It's okay. Get back up. Come on. Let's deal with that. And be okay with it. All right. I appreciate you for your time. I will be back with you again sooner than later. And share the video. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Angela said, yes, go do that thing. Go do it. Forget what they told you. Who are they? They're not God. Sometimes I had to tell some supervisors, I said, you're not God. Who do you think you're talking to? Whoop. Yes, I said that. You don't get to talk to me like that. When you're confident in who you are, you don't tolerate the unacceptable. Oh, no, you will not talk to me like that. Who do you think you are? I'm a child of the King. That's who I am. Anything else? Well, you ain't got to have an attitude. Oh, no, I will check you when you try to come for me. I can be the sweetest, nicest, kindest person. I'll support you. But when you start coming for me or you come for my son, oh, honey, it's another thing. And I'll pray for you. I might hit you in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, but I will pray for you. Now, y'all know I'm not violent, but y'all get what I'm saying. it means it ain't even going down like that. I'm not just going to lay there and take it. Because you don't have to. All right? You're valuable. God let you come here. You beat out 100 million sperm. They was all swimming for the egg. They was swimming for the egg. And baby, you beat it. Because then when that egg gets in there, it closes up. No more sperm can get up in there. And you're here. So don't let some big nose, unattractive, miserable person. And sometimes people can be ignorant and they can be attractive. So I'm not just going to say they all ugly, because you got some people who are so bougie. Yeah. What did you do with the child? Miss me with all that. Miss me with all that. The only reason you got all that is because somebody either taught you or you listen here. Hang around genuine people who can appreciate you and respect you. But most importantly, respect yourself. I'll talk to y'all later. I done said it about like a million times. I'm just trying to drive this point home. I just want to drive it home. I just want to drive it home. You may be insecure today, but you don't have to stay that way. You may be insecure today, but you don't have to stay that way. Your insecurity must be addressed from the inside out. I don't care how many cars you get, how many diamond rings you wear. You can have rings on every finger. That is not going to address the root cause of your insecurity. But once you get that root out there and you pull that thing out, you be like, not today, devil, not now, not never. Okay. See y'all later. Bye, everybody.